Wow. I think Mike McCarthy cost himself the job. When you have an elite talent like Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not here to sit up there and act like he's perfect, but the brother is elite. As a talent, he might be the greatest we have ever seen as a talent. You have somebody that talented. Talent ain't the only thing that matters, but when you have somebody that's talented, that is that talented, you got to find a way to work things out. If you are Aaron Rodgers and privately, because I think the thing that's important in all of this, with all of this noise that's coming out, the report is saying Aaron Rodgers said to other people. So we can't treat Aaron Rodgers like he's the one saying this stuff. I mean, if he's at home talking to one of his boys, okay, he's entitled to say what the hell he wants to say. He didn't leak it. He's talking to his crew. You see what I'm saying? If I'm sitting up here, I work with my brother Marcus here. If I'm talking to Marcus, I ain't telling him to go out there and tell somebody what I said. So I don't think Aaron Rodgers should be held accountable for that. But the fact that he used the word, and it was quoted that he used the word buffoon, you're essentially, you're calling Mike McCarthy clueless, talking about wrong schemes, wrong personnel, that kind of thing. You could make an argument that that's the kind of stuff that will end your career. You might not get another shot after this. I'm just not sure you blame Aaron Rodgers for that, because he didn't tell that to the public. Yeah. He was, somebody else did that. Yeah. That's my issue.
There are disagreements at work all the time, right? We never, I've been in the NFL locker room as long as I was. The disagreements happen on a daily basis. Okay. Yeah. But as professionals, you work those things out. Here's the difference, Stephen A. I hadn't heard anybody stand on the table and beat the drum for Aaron Rodgers about being a great teammate. I've heard dudes that had successful careers in Green Bay. Greg Jennings, one of the best receivers to ever play in Green Bay. Michael Finley was one of the best tight ends in the league. We talked about him being elite. These two dudes benefited from having Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. And they came out and said Aaron Rodgers was sensitive. He was he was not a good dude to deal with.
Is it possible they were ungrateful?
Why would they be ungrateful? They had great careers.
Greg Jennings, that's my brother. I got nothing but love for him. But I'm saying, is that not possible? Is it not possible, Marcus?
They had numbers and great careers. If it was a player that didn't produce, I could give more validity to them saying Aaron Rodgers is this type of guy. We talking about two dudes that won Super Bowl.
No, I'm saying that's why I use the word grateful.
Because Marcus, we're not. But the issue here. The issue here is not, is Aaron Rodgers perfect, right? No matter how you try to massage the situation, Mike McCarthy was the problem here. Look, if there's a culture problem, and apparently there was, the buck has to stop at the head coach. If there's a scheming problem, right, because the coach is in charge of the culture, fail. In charge of the scheme, in charge of putting players in positions to succeed, fail. I heard Louis Riddick talking to you this morning on Get Up, talking about, Jennings and Jermichael Finley, these guys, they were winning their matchups one-on-one. It's not like they were getting schemed
Max,
open.
let me ask you this.
So that's both on the head coach. And let me say one more thing real quick, Marcus, then you jump in. Game recognize game. Real recognize real. And Aaron Rodgers got the most game. So if there's a problem, even if it's on the quarterback to tailor himself a little bit to the situation, if that kind of game looks at the coach and goes, you got to be kidding me, then one of them's got to go. So then the question is, who's easier to replace? The overly conservative coach who can't scheme correctly in the modern NFL and can't control the culture, or the most talented quarterback of all time? See you later, coach.
All right, let me ask you this then. I'm not absolving any one of them of any fault in this situation.
I got you.
Aaron Rodgers, the greatest talent we didn't see.
Okay. Keep
overcome coaching. That's what we would tell any other player. Overcome coaching. And by the way, they talked about Aaron Rodgers improvising to try to make this team better. It was talent. The front office don't have enough talent.
Because you incriminate yourself even more.
Stephen A., I'm telling you, I'm not absolving Mike McCarthy of anything. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers.
That's what I'm talking about.
Y'all don't want to talk about that because he's talented.
Hold on. Let me explain. Because I love this. And let me preface the comment. By being Captain Obvious here. You played, I did it. I got that. So I'm going to give that to you. But listen where I'm going. Listen where I'm going with this. This dude right here may be the greatest talent that we've seen at the quarterback position. 8 straight years they went to the postseason, mind you. It wasn't like they were losing, all right? They didn't make the playoffs last year. Last year he was injured. This past season he got injured again, but then again, obviously he's played through it. The point that I'm trying to make to you is 8 straight years they went to the playoffs. A couple of years they went to the conference championship game. They won a Super Bowl, for crying out loud. So we're sitting there saying, overcome coaching. One could argue that's exactly what the hell he did. That's exactly what the hell he did.
Or
what?
We could say Mike McCarthy was the head coach during that entire time.
That's right.
And that Mike McCarthy helped him become one of the best in the game.
Like,
you could argue that.
We've grown accustomed to giving these stars passes. We are harder on guys in the NBA because we see their faults a little bit more.
Right.
In NFL locker rooms, a culture makes a difference.
Yeah, totally valid. But here's the point. You just finished saying you didn't hear anybody coming to the defense of Aaron Rodgers as a teammate. Did you say that?
I didn't.
You know what I didn't hear? I ain't hear nobody coming to the defense of Mike McCarthy as a coach. But I ain't hear that. I didn't hear that.
We talking about football. We talking about X's and O's. I don't have a problem with you having an issue with X's and O's. Every player feels like the coach. If they not successful and not thriving, every player feels like, well, this ain't tailored to me. We should be running another play. I'm not talking about that. Everybody wants to give Aaron Rodgers credit for the Green Bay Packers' success. He has to overcome coaching there, right? You just said 8 postseasons.
But what's your definition? And I'm talking to a former Dallas Cowboy here, so be very sensitive how you answer this question. One make the argument that Aaron Rodgers did overcome it by going to the playoffs 8 straight years?
Or Mike McCarthy
is it all about the Super Bowl?
Or Mike McCarthy had a lot to do with
it. So which one is it for you?
I think Mike McCarthy had a lot to do with it.
Okay.
Marcus,
we talk about Aaron Rodgers. McCarthy was the head coach.
Okay.